B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we're heading to Compton, California to talk about one of the best dual threat artists in hip-hop history, period. Don't care what you say. Whether it's behind the boards producing or on the mic rapping, David Blake always brings his A game. This week, top 10 DJ Quik songs. Joining me are Brad Sadler, Diz Mega, and as always, Raven Hunter. All right, I'll start this off with an album that I think is his most underrated album. It's aged like fine wine, in my humble opinion, and that's 2000's Balance and Options. And I'm going with the song I Don't Want to Party With You. I just really think this album as a whole really holds up. This song is a great example of this album. It's a little bit quicker beat and flow, quicker, but he does it perfectly. The hook always makes me laugh still to this day. He rides the beat perfect. This was just kind of a personal favorite always. I just always really gravitated towards. So I Don't Want to Party With You. He's talking about a girl whose lips look like she sucked a muffler. Number 10, that's mine. Brad, what's yours?
All right. Well, with DJ Quik, actually, I loved the first album, and then somehow, like, I don't know, like he fell out of my like radar for a long time. Like I know he did beats for lots of people and I knew him that way, but I never like bought his albums until later in his career when he came out with this record, which unfortunately is not on streaming, Book of David. And I have a subscription to Rolling Stone, and they were like, DJ Quik puts out one of the best albums of his career. And I was like, oh yeah, DJ Quik. Well, let me check that album out. And I was like, whoa, this is an awesome album. So then after that, I went back and then bought all the albums in between. But so you're going to see most of my list will actually be a lot of new stuff because that's like what I was mostly familiar with. But the first track off here, Fire and Brimstone, is just a banger off a really awesome album that probably doesn't, because it's not on streaming, probably doesn't make a lot of people's lists or people don't talk about it as much. But highly recommended. And I did check this. I noticed you always bring CD covers. I'm like, well, I'm a record collector, so I'm going to start bringing the records. When I bought this pretty much when it came out, so I'm hiding my face. But I went and checked on Discogs. There's none available. The last one sold for over $100. So apparently this is a rare record.
Wow.
That is a really good record too, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, I agree. There really wasn't any bad DJ Quik albums. Obviously, some I like more than others. Maybe the Midnight one I wasn't a huge fan of. But no, I agree. That's a great record. And number 10, Diz, what's yours?
Number 10, I started straight up with Safe and Sound. Just a fun track, The Hoe in You. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I always, man, I just can't help but to sing along with it, man. It's just such a cool track. And I think it just shows a little bit of DJ Quik's diversity. You could come and bring some of that soul or whatever you want to call it. It's not like a hardcore gangster track, they're just like singing the hook, this is for the hoe in you, and I'm just like, I love that track. It features High C, second to none. I love those guys with Quik. They do a pretty good job. So that made my number 10 as my 10th favorite DJ Quik song. So.
And that's a good point bringing up, you got AMG, High C, second to none, that whole crew. The whole crew Quik, would always feature were really good too. Penthouse Players Click, they put out a really underrated album in the 90s that doesn't get talked about enough. But his whole crew is really talented. I'm a huge AMG fan. I love everything he ever did. And Safe and Sound, I'm sure that album will get brought up again in the future. Raven, what's your number 10?
Number 10. So my number 10 and 11 kind of fought to try to get that position. So I just want to give love to a song called Badass from the Rosecrans Project. That was my number 11, and I love that song, but I went with That End Is Crazy from 2014's The Midnight Life. It's got a fucking banjo, a fast-paced banjo in the beat, and he says a bunch of silly shit like, I'm so cool, I nut ice cream. I just fucking love that song, always have. So That End Is Crazy.
And that's 2 weeks in a row we talked about a song with a banjo in the beat.
That's
crazy.
Yep.
Right? We might be onto something here. Number 9, I told you we're going to get there. 1995, Safe and Sound. This is, to me, his best album. Might not even be my favorite. Hit Quick, his name might be my favorite, but I think this is a 5 mic album. There's nothing I skip. Maybe the skit before I Don't Want to Eat It, but I'm going with the song Get At Me. Ruthless AMG diss. He was part of Quick's crew from the beginning. They had a falling out, and Quick starts this album off with Get At Me and just destroys AMG. Really great beat. I love the scratching in the intro and at the end. I mean, it's perfect. So many great lines. Like I said, first song on the album, and he starts it off right. They would obviously make up and work again in the future. But at this point in time, he just killed him. So Get At Me. My number 9. Brad, what's yours?
All right. So I'm also going to, well, I think you didn't actually pick something off the Rosecrans. I love the Rosecrans EP.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and there's no physical product. I think there was like a CDR that was made or something like that, but it's DJ Quik and Problem. The album itself, when he expanded it, I was like, eh, but that EP, like every track off it was so good. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. And so there's nothing really like physical to show you with that, because I don't have the CDR that was released. And I missed out right when that EP came out. They put out 100 hockey jerseys with like Rosecrans and a little rose on there. And by the time I found it, it was already sold out. And I've been like, every few months I'll be like, I'll Google like trying to find that Rosecrans hockey jersey, because I would fuck it. And I was like, man, if I had that Rosecrans hockey jersey to wear tonight, fuck yeah. So anyways, you're going to hear a lot from me from that EP, because I love that EP. I played it over and over and over again. It may be, honestly, I mean, I love the early stuff and I love the first album, but that Rosecrans EP is up there for me. And so I'm just going with song number 1 with Rosecrans with The Game. Great opening track. I always loved The Game and everything he's done. And that was a great way to set that album off for me as well.
Diz, what's your number 9?
You Ain't Fresh from Balance and Options, featuring Eric Sermon and Cam.
Thank
I
you.
love that track. I think it's dope. I think it was, at first, when I first heard it, I thought it was a Dre diss or an NWA diss. It came out around that time. He's talking about these guys getting ruthless again, and, you know, taking credit for his own songs and whatever. And, you know, Eric Sermon does pretty good on here. The beat's dope. And then Cam is just fire at the end. I love that track. I didn't want it to miss out on this list, so it had to make my top 10, man. Number 9, You Ain't Fresh.
Awesome, because that was like 11 or 12 for me. I love that record. One day we're doing a Cam show, because I'm such a fan of Cam and think he doesn't get enough credit. So many great songs that man made, and not enough people know about him. So I'm glad he gets love here too. Raven, what hit your number 9?
Fire and Brimstone. Love that song. It's an album I didn't expect to hear anyone else really talk about, so it was really cool. So yeah, Fire and Brimstone. Everything that could have been said, my man already said. So
all right, we are at number 8, and I'm taking us to the year 1992, and the album is Way Too Funky. I could only fit one song from this album, but this album has a soft spot in my heart. Takes me back to high school. I remember buying this and listening to it at my girlfriend's house. And I'm going with the first song, America's Most Complete Artist. This album, I think people skip over a lot. You got the classic debut, Quick is the Name, and then you got the almost near perfect Safe and Sound. And it's easy to skip Way Too Funky. But this is a really solid album. Great beat, dope scratching in the chorus. It's done perfectly. There's a really good bridge between the second and third verse, and Quick brings it lyrically. It's a great way to start out this record that doesn't get enough love. So America's Most Complete Artist is my number 8. Brad, what about you?
Going back to the Book of David. So the single off that was called Nobody with Sugar Free.
Yes.
And the video's it's pretty cool. The little opening thing about you're so hungry you eat a chicken wing vein or something like that. And I just like the song. It sounds really good. It's really catchy. Another great song off the Book of David album.
Diz, what's number 8 on your list?
Number 8, I'm going back to his first album, the track called Sweet Black Pussy. Now, DJ Quik's got a lot of tracks where he gets into the female anatomy, of course, and his own adventures. But this one is just iconic to me, man. I love how the singing at the end, and then he gets into almost like a reggae voice, and just such a creative young dude at like 19 or something. It's like, boom, man. It's classic. Had to make the list. Sweet Black Pussy at number 8.
And another song that starts an album off and just, I mean, you're in it right away. Such a great track.
Oh, yeah.
Raven, number 8.
Number 8. I went to 2002's Under the Influence with the song Murder One Case featuring Pharoah and KK. Super dope beat, super dope flow. I love Pharoah and nobody ever talks about him, and that sucks. So hearing him on the quick beat was also just fucking awesome. So Murder One Case, dope song if you haven't heard that.
Honorable mention list. I love that song, and it hurt me not to put that on there. Such a hard beat. It isn't even necessarily your typical DJ Quik sounding beat, but such a great song. And you don't think Quik and Pharoah really would gel, but it's
Quik
a great
sounds
song.
great on that song too.
Right. Yeah, you're right. People need to check it out if they don't know it. That is a great track. All right, we are to number 7 already, and I'm taking us back to the year 2000, 2G from Balance and Options. And I'm going with the big single off of this, Pitchin' on a Party. Quik is great at making party songs, and this is a great example. He keeps it real at the same time, but makes these fun songs. This was the first single. I think it was the perfect song to release as a single. We can all relate to a big house party and everything that goes on. Great storytelling, but you all know what the highlight is. He's rapping, and then all of a sudden, someone kicks the extension cord out, and everything stops. You just hear nothing but Quik saying, some of the clumsiest motherfuckers. They plug it back on, the beat comes on, and he keeps going. I mean, just little things like that are genius to me. A lot of people don't look at little details like that when they're making songs. So I always appreciate it. Just the small elements that get me. So Pitching on a Party is my number 7. What about you, Brad?
All right. So I promise I'm going to get to some earlier albums, but one more off Rosecrans. And with DJ Quik, I think for me, a lot of what I like about him, like lyrically, I put him in middle of the pack. Like it's not just he's not the guy I go to like the Ghetto Boys, but it's just the way the beats sound. And like when I listen to DJ Quik, it's just more about like hearing the music and all the cool stuff he does with the production. So I tried to go through and pick songs where I really just, the song was really catchy to me. So Take It Off One Time, which is kind of like an R&B track and off the Rosecrans album, but it just sounds so good to me. And again, it's another super catchy song. And I promise I'm moving away from those two style. I had to get them out of the way in the beginning.
It's your list. It's your list. Stand by it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Production wise, he's a top 10 hip hop producer in history in my eyes. He's so musical and amazing. Diz, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Get At Me from Safe and Sound. Man, I was in high school when this came out. I remember hearing it and I just thought it was levels above, way too funky. And like my mind was just like blown, man. I was like, holy crap, like this album is something else. DJ Quik, man, the guy, it's not even fair to call him a genius. He's like the prince of hip hop or something, He's on the boards, he's on the writing, he's got flow. This album right here, or at least this track right here, set off the mood for Safe and Sound for me. And it really never looked back. And like you said earlier, it was almost like a perfect album. So love the track, man. One of my favorite DJ Quik tracks, Get At Me. Record scratching, also bonus. I love record scratching, man. Dope.
Raven, number 7.
Number 7. It happens at least once every show. I got pitched in on a party from 2000's Balance and Options. It's a great fucking song. Great beat. Love Quik's flow. Might be my favorite Quik flow on the album is on Pitching in the Party. He just rides that beat so perfectly. And like you said, the little chord pull thing was awesome. Just that whole album is really underrated, and I don't even remember liking it that much when it came out. But fuck, I love that record now.
Mm-hmm. I know I liked it when it came out, but not as much as I liked it now. It really holds up. All right, we are to number 6, and I'm taking us back. I'm the old school guy, but not all the way. 1995, Safe and Sound. And I'm going with a song that I doubt anyone else will pick, although I am proven wrong all the time. And that's Summer Breeze. I am a sucker for these type of songs. Reminiscing about your childhood will get Chris every single time. Similar to Cube's Doing Dumb Shit or Coolio's I Remember. Those songs just, I love those songs. Great vibe, that summer afternoon reminiscing about the dumb shit you did as a kid. The beat fits perfectly. Hook fits the vibe perfectly. I put this up there even with Summertime for things that give me that feel. It just screams summer. I love Summer Breeze, and great song. So that was number 6 for me. What is number 6 for you, Brad?
Let's hang out with the same album on vinyl. You know, finding these DJ Quik albums on record are actually really hard. They must not have been made. A lot of them weren't made. So they actually just re-released this on a colored vinyl. Any record collectors out there can pick it up. But anyways, I picked Dollars and Cents off this album, which is the MC8 disc, which it's so funny to me. Like he says something about MC8 spelling his name wrong. And I'm like, what? DJ Quik? Where's your C? So I just thought, I was like, that's hilarious. But I love, so you like reminiscing songs. I like diss songs. So they're always good to me. I think rappers always bring their best game when they're doing diss songs. And so I picked that one off Safe and Sound.
But that line you're talking about, EIHT, should I continue? You left out the G because the G ain't in you. That's one of the best lines from that. That's cold. That still gets me every time when I hear that song. Nah, great pick. Number 6 is
number 6 for me. Murder One Case, man. I know it was already mentioned earlier, but the song is dope. It holds up for sure. Like it still sounds fucking brand new to me, man. I'm like, this song is so crazy, man. The album, pretty underrated in my opinion. I'm not sure where I was mentally or what age I was, probably in my early 20s when it came out. And I bumped it for a while, but I never bumped it religiously like Safe and Sound or Way Too Funky. But revisiting it was a lot of fun. And Murder One, I was just like, damn, man, I remember this song. This is one of the greats, man. So props, you guys already mentioned it, but it made my list too.
I love
Dope
that
track.
2 of you had that on there because it killed me not to put it on there. And I never would imagine anyone else was liking it as much as I did. So that's the shit. Raven, number 6.
But you fuckers kill me because it was Dollars and Cents, the MC8 disc. Safe and Sound's a great fucking album. That's been said, by everyone else already, but almost the perfect album. I don't really see any skippers in there. The beats and the flows are just on point in that album, and his bars were dope for a diss song. I was actually kind of more of an MC8 and Compton's Most Wanted fan at this era, and I loved MC8's disses, the Death Wish series, and all that shit's dope. But he's got a couple of really good diss songs on that album towards MC8. But yeah, Dollars and Cents, number 6.
One of the best. I think that was like number 3 on when we did the top 10 diss track list. Just so witty, but still keeps it kind of hard. But you still get that DJ Quik funk type beat. It just was done fucking perfectly. It's almost like he knows what he's doing. We are halfway through, and I think this is the first time I'm taking us there. Classic 1991's Quik is the Name album. And I'm going with the song of the same title, Quik is the Name. Like I said, amazing debut album. Quik came on the scene and killed it. And this song was always so great to me, the faster pace, the great scratching in the hook. But my highlight was, as a kid, I played Tecmo Bowl like a motherfucker. And in this, he says, I'll beat your ass as if we were playing Tecmo Bowl. And then in the background, you hear the hut, 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 hut from the game. I love that shit. I love that. And this is also the first DJ Quik video I ever remember seeing on UMTV Raps. You would think I would have seen like Born and Raised in Compton, which was a single, Tonight, which was a single. I don't remember those. I remember seeing this video on UMTV Raps, so it also gets it a little notch up in the belt. But I'll beat your ass as if I was playing Tecmo Bowl. Number 5, Quik is the Name. What about you, Brad?
All right, so I'm going to this hard to find album, Rhythmalism. And I'm actually going, I had to pick this song because I wanted to show there's a single off that song, off that album called Down, Down, Down. And it has this picture disc.
Great.
And so funny thing about this picture disc, of course I had to have it when I saw it. So recently Champtown was on his Facebook, and he had written on he'd posted a picture of his picture disc, which I think came out in 1999. And he was like, first hip hop artist ever to release a picture disc. And I get on there, I was like, I'm like, have you seen this? Because this came out a year before yours. And he was like, almost the first. And I think there was one other one I found. West Side Connection had a picture disc as well for, I think, Gangsters Make the World Go Round. So there was 2 before Champtown. But anyways, Down, Down, Down. Great record. If you're a record collector, you gotta have this record. It's an awesome picture disc.
Yeah, I never saw that. And it's a great picture disc. And speaking about that album, I remember when it came out being really disappointed. I thought it was too experimental. I wanted another Safe and Sound type album. But now, listening to it now, I really, really like that album way more than I ever did in the past. It almost reminded me of, not the sounding the same, but like when I first heard Isham's Male Dominance, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're changing who you are. And I felt that way with this, but I really think it's aged really well. I enjoyed Rhythmalism, and it's fun to say, right? Diz, what's your number 5?
My number 5, man, from Balance and Options, Quicker Said Than Done, man. I love the the props he gives to Eazy-E on it, just doing the entire Easier Said Than Done track over. Quick style, though. I thought it was much respect to Quick for doing it, and had to be mentioned, man. Love the track. Quick is dope for doing it, and it's just a fun track too. Quick is cool, man, because he's like a gangster who can just have fun. He doesn't, like, you think of him as an entertainer first and then kind of a gangster sometimes, but the guy is just all about party and fun above all. And he's this is one of those tracks that was just fun to do, I bet, for him, and I enjoyed it. So Quicker Said Than Done, man, one of my favorites.
All right, we are at 5, I believe. Raven?
I actually was on 98's Rhythmalism for the song Use a Gangsta. It's just a dope beat, and I love the flow of it, and it's got a great fucking catchy hook. Use a Gangsta is a great fucking song. And that is an underrated album that I did not like when it first came out as well.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know, does he have a bad album? Like, I couldn't find one.
No, I couldn't either. And that's interesting that you had the same take, because when that came out, I remember being so disappointed. Like, I liked a couple songs, but
drastic change.
Oh yeah, this is nothing like I wanted from DJ Quik. But I really I listened to it like 3 times in a row the other day after I had gone through everything a few times. Like, I really like this record. I don't know if you just had to be older and more mature to appreciate what he was doing. Could be.
A little more open-minded, maybe? And
that could be. And in 98, I wasn't the most open-minded person. We are at number 4, and it was just brought up. 2000s Balance and Options, Quicker Said Than Done. Like you said, he remakes Easier Said Than Done, an Eazy-E song that I absolutely love. And I'm usually not a huge fan of remakes. I never really think they hit. They had that whole, in the beginning, there was rap, where newer rappers, at least at the time, were doing old school songs. And most of them, that was hit or miss for me. But I think he did this one perfect. It was a perfect love letter to Eazy. He changes just enough words and lines to make it his own. This was my favorite always off of Balance and Options, which, again, an album I love so much more than I remembered. It's aged perfectly. So everything else has been said. Quicker Said Than Done is my number 4. What's your number 4, Brad?
I went back to Safe and Sound, and I picked the funny song "Don't You Eat It." Back in early hip hop, you had a lot of those guys that were like Eazy-E's, like I'm a woman beater, not a pussy eater.
Yeah.
And then there was Snoop, who was like, I was in love like a motherfucker, licking the pearl tongue. So it's like, there was kind of like, we don't really do that much, and then now it's like kind of changed, and everyone got to be great at that. So I was going through the albums, and I was like, hey, this song sounds fucking awesome. It's hilarious. And it brought me back to that time when it was like all the rap guys were like, we don't do that. But he has a funny take on it. Like, he did it a ton, and then he quit doing it. So
right. That was on my honorable mentions. That song still makes me smile to this day. That's such a great song. So many good lines in there too. I'm glad that hit someone's list. Number 4, Diz.
Back to Way Too Funky, man. Just like Compton.
Yes.
I think that song is iconic. I love the storytelling in it. And this is my hometown, Denver, man, and I love it. It's
Yeah,
a
they're
joke.
listed
It's
in
pretty
there.
cool.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I love the beats cool, man, and it's just I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just reminiscent from my own past, but Way Too Funky, that album was the first DJ Quik I heard, and I have memories of just being a kid, a teenager in people's garages, just bumping this tape. Like, no, this isn't NWA, man, but it's dope. It's DJ Quik. He's from Compton. Let's check it out, And yeah, Way Too Funky was something else. So just like Compton, man, I love that track. That's my fourth favorite.
That was an honorable mention as well. That was a single also. And then a fun
Mhm.
fact, I think he does Oakland, St. Louis, Denver, and San Antonio. There was this group from San Antonio called PKO that made a DJ Quik disc called San Antonio Ain't Shit Like Compton. It's really underground, but they tried to answer him. Quik may have never even heard it. But it got a little traction on the underground circuit. But you're right. It's amazing how albums can transport you back to exact times. I mean, like you were talking about, Way Too Funky. I'm in high school, but I can picture being at my girlfriend's house at the time, who was not as into hip hop as Chris was, like making her listen to this record, and like the song Mo Pussy's coming on, and she's like looking at me in disgust, and I'm like, bitch, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
yeah, we didn't work out, we didn't work out, but
Yeah.
probably for the best. All right, I'll rein it back in. Number 4, Raven.
I went to 95 Safe and Sound with Let You Have It. Just another really dope fucking beat with a really dope fucking flow. And he went at 8 in quite a few songs on this album, and he definitely has some shade in Let You Have It too.
Yes, a kind of underrated diss track because everyone goes to say dollars and cents. But he kills them in that too. I mean, he was on, with the AMG disc, with all the 8 discs. He was just.
It always hurt my heart to see those AMG discs too, because
Oh,
I
I
loved
know.
AMG.
I know, but at least they made up. But he destroyed him in that record. But he was destroying everyone. All right, top 3, and I'm taking us to the year 1998's Rhythmalism. See, it's fun to say, and I'm going with the song "Use a Gangsta." No, I'm not. It's a it's a classic, quick beat, classic, quick flow. And I love all the topics he covers about, that fight with the MC8 homie, and the night Biggie died, where they're blaming it on him. And he's like, hell no, like, no way. This is the single off of it. And I just think when this came out and I was disappointed in Rhythmalism, I did like this song. This was a song that I always remember from this album liking, and it still holds up. I still love this song, and I think he flows on it really perfect. So Use a Gangsta had a high place in my heart, but don't front on this album. If you remember not liking this, peep it out again if you're in our age bracket. So that was my number 3. What's yours, Brad?
Yeah, Rhythmalism is great, and I guess again I went back later and when the instrumentation and the sound,
Right.
so classic G-Funk, where I think a lot of people had kind of moved away from that. Maybe that's why it didn't. I don't know. I mean, I didn't listen to it in '98. I'm not even gonna front like I did,
Right.
but I think it's fucking awesome. And I did read some interviews with DJ Quik about his career and how he's like, obviously he had a few hits, but he never like rose to like superstar status like Snoop and Dre and all those guys, and all those things that happened with the record labels was kind of part of it. Like he'd be right there and then some shit would happen. But anyways, couple of things. This is the first record promo copy, and I'm picking a song off there. But what I really, really, really have been looking for a long time, and I've literally never seen it anywhere, is this infamous Red Tape that supposedly DJ Quik put out. Pre DJ Quik is the name.
Yes. Underground Red Tape. Yep.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you guys have actually seen one. I've
Mm.
scoured eBay,
Nope.
past auctions. It's something that I would like to have. Also because Isham called his Booming Words the red
Right.
tape, which I think I'm certain was based off the DJ Quik red tape, which came out like a year earlier. But anyway, supposedly Born and Raised in Compton was on that red tape. And then also on Quick is the Name. And just a great album, a great song off Quick is the Name, which for a long time was the only Quick album I ever listened to, which is an awesome first record.
Yes, infamous red tape. He's talked about it multiple times, but no, I've never even seen a picture of it. And then, interesting enough, MC8 kind of has his own version, the one-time Gafflin blue tape that he's brought up multiple times. That's really tough to find, and that one I have, but that at least has some distribution. I think this red tape probably never left Compton. It was that local. So glad you brought up that red tape because he mentions it multiple songs here and there. And Born and Raised in Compton is great. That was definitely an honorable mention. It was the first single. Great album. Number 3, Diz.
I'm going to Rhythmalism. Speed.
Yes.
Track is so dope, man.
So dope.
I mean, it's so fast, and I just love the collaboration on there. Everything that they're doing on there, man, just goes perfect with the song. And it's like, this is DJ Quik, man, just being mega creative, just having fun like usual, and just doing exactly everything he wants to do. That track really stuck out to me. I mean, I'm with you guys. At first, I was like, what the F, but it grew on me pretty quickly. I've listened to it over the last year a few times, and it's an easy listen. I don't know if I listen all the way through it, but I am always surprised when I do hear it. I'm like, oh man, this track was dope. The CD was actually all entirely really dope and creative, Speed though, I found to be like the one that's like my crown jewel of that one, man. It's just so fast, so dope. Top track, top number 3 for me, man. And the cover that he made here in an interview, he said it was inspired by the Doors. So he was going for that type of look. It is unusual. It's cool though.
No, Speed was on my honorable mentions too. After Use a Gangster, that's probably my next favorite one off of that record. Him and AMG just ride that fast beat perfect, smooth as silk. Raven, number 3.
This is definitely one of my honorable mentions too. Speed. Number 3, Just Like Compton. Love the beat. Just a great fucking song. It's classic Quik.
And like I said, it was a single off of that. It was a good single. Number 2, 1991's Quick is the Name. And someone brought it up before. Sweet Black Pussy. One of my all-time favorite sex songs. If we ever do a top 10 sex song, I know this will make it. Great way to start off the album. But let's talk about the genius part. Just like in Pitching on a Party, the best part of this song, when he loses his place, it stops the beat, you hear paper shuffling.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Black Pussy. Always talk about it because classic. And yeah, this era, he's 18, 19, 20 years old, whatever he was. That's just, those little details are just great. Just great. And 30 years later, I've known this song for 30 years plus, and that still gets me every time he loses his place and he's got to shuffle through the papers. And then he just goes right back in like, oh, okay, here we go. And it's catchy as hell, amazing scratching in it. It's impossible for me not to rap along to this song, Sweet Black Pussy. That's my number 2. What's yours, Brad?
Great song. So I'm going to go back to the Rosecrans EP. And to me, the crown jewel is New Night and /Rosecrans Groove, which no one brought up. Quick's Groove, which is, something he does a lot of albums where he puts like an instrumental in there. And New Night's kind of like a song, and then Rosecrans Groove kind of goes off into that to like an instrumental kind of thing. It sounds like a computer game, but it's like 7 or 8 or 9 minutes long, and it's just fucking phenomenal. And at first I had it way back up on the list, and I listened to it again, and I had to take off I took off Just Like Compton to bump that up to to number 2, because I was like, man, I just love that song. I love how the beat kind of builds up over time. It's really, really cool. So to me, that's the crown jewel of that Rosecrans EP.
And then I'm glad you brought up the Quik grooves, because like you said, every album has a Quik groove. And in the 90s, when his albums were coming out in the 90s and I was younger, I skipped those every time. Those were irrelevant to me. I had no interest. But the older I got, I would start listening and appreciating them more. Where back in the day, it was the automatic skip. I don't want to hear this. I don't care about his creative, genius. I want to hear him rap about sweet black pussy. But I appreciate him now that I'm in my 40s. I look at him very differently. So I'm glad they got brought up. Diz, what's your number 2?
My number 2, back to Under the Influence. There's a track called Sex Crimey. It's towards the end of the CD, and it's just Quik is rapping kind of like in a slow, low tone, almost like a whisper, but his rhyming is so smooth. The beat is so cool, man. He's got like, I don't know if it's like some kind of weird guitar in there somewhere towards the hook. He's just a genius, man. And this track is just pure genius on his part. I love the track. I had to make it my number 2. It just makes me feel different than the other tracks do. Like that one just hits and it's like, yeah, Quik is somewhere else on this planet, There's like producer rappers and then there's like DJ Quik, you know. And this is one of those tracks that reminded me of that. So Sex Crimey, love it. That's my number 2.
And this is a shameless plug. I believe it's in the interview I did with Silky Fine, who was on Ruthless. She talked about being in the studio with DJ Quik and his genius. Like he could play everything in the studio. He would be having conversations with someone while doing it, she said. It blew her mind. Like he was just next level genius when it came to the instruments and the producing. It was a really cool little story she told about working with Quik. But yeah, producer extraordinaire. Raven, what's the second best one on your list?
Second best one on my list from 92 is Way Too Funky, Just Like Compton. It's just a really good, cool beat. It's got a nice little story to it. I love that song. Great story, actually. But
it is a great story. Yeah, I'm the only one who didn't have it on my list, but it was close. It would have been in my top 15, Just Like Compton. Which brings us to the end, number 1. And I think his best album is 1995 Safe and Sound, so that's where we're going. It was brought up earlier by some of you, but Dollars and Cents. One of the best diss songs ever. Like I said, it was high up on my list. He destroys MC8 and just kills him lyrically. And my next note is the line, EHT, should I continue and lift up the G because the G ain't in you? The beat fits the vibe perfectly, but it's still got that quick funkiness where it's a DJ Quik sounding beat, but it's hard enough that it works with the diss tracking. And I don't remember hearing all these. I started hearing some the other day and then really focused, but in his overdubs, real low behind, it might even be a double overdub, like he might double up words. And then some places he's just saying overdubs like punk ass, you a bitch, over lines that aren't those words. He's just like talking shit about MC8 real low in the overdubs. Again, little details. Even to this day, I knew this song for 30 years and I don't remember ever hearing that. And also this had to make number 1 because in my mind, when I think rap beef, my mind automatically goes to DJ Quik versus MC8. To me, that's the ultimate rap beef. That's where my brain goes. And this song, Dollars and Cents, was the best that either of them ever did. He destroys them. And I think I brought this up on the diss track episode, but I love the ending. The ultimate fuck you is, I'm through playing with your punk ass. Like, you ain't shit. You're below me. I'm through playing with your punk ass. I just love the way he ends it. So Dollars and Cents, number 1 to me. What's number 1 for you, Brad?
For me, it's all about nostalgia. First album, the song Tonight was when I first really got into hip hop. All my friends that were in hip hop, we loved that song. We'd go driving in the car, just blaring that song over and over and over again. And so it had to be my number 1, which I think is probably his most famous song. It's probably a lot of people's number 1. Excellent fucking song.
Yeah, it was an honorable mention. And I think of that. Well, I don't drink as much as I used to, but when I used to drink, I think of that song where, I'll never drink again if you just let me live. And then the next night he's drinking again. I mean, pretty much everyone's been there. Great storytelling. Diz, what was number one on your list?
My number one is Dollars and Cents.
Right,
It's almost the song that defines DJ Quik's, I don't know if you want to say career or just persona, but when I think of Quik, this is one of the first songs I think of, Dollars and Cents. And it has been embedded in my brain since I was a teenager, this entire CD. But Dollars and Cents was just like the classic. You could say it's the crown jewel of the CD, I bet. It's definitely iconic, and it helped define, the 90s. I wouldn't even say it's G-Funk, whatever you want to call it, P-Funk. DJ Quik had made his own sound, and he had just like leveled up so much since Way Too Funky. And Dollars and Cents is just such an aggressive track. It's a good track and it's a diss track. It's so dope. Oh, and by the way, it's a diss track too, it's like that. So it's my favorite DJ Quik song. It was hard to pick it, hard making this list, of course, but
Right.
Dollars and Cents had to be number one.
You are right in the fact of just in those few years between Way Too Funky and Safe and Sound, how much he leveled up. And, he was like next level. As much as I love Way Too Funky and I love Quick as a Name, Safe and Sound to me was just like perfection, like perfect. And just like you, Dollars and Cents was my favorite song off of it. Raven, what's number one to you?
Number one, this was anybody that knows me personally knows who my favorite rapper of all time is, and that's Eazy-E. So Quicker Said Than Done is my favorite DJ Quik song because it's done perfectly. As it was said, I think twice now, he changed enough to make it a DJ Quik song while still giving all that love to E. And I love Eazy-E, so I had to go with Quicker Said Than Done.
If I remember right, he shouts out to Eazy-E at the end. And it's the right way to remake a classic song. So we made it to the end. As always, honorable mentions. If you're here for the first time, if a song doesn't make anyone's list, but I think it should at least get some love, I just want to give you the title. Honorable mentions from the Menace to Society soundtrack, the Everlast disc, Can't Fuck With a Brother. Off of Quick as the Name, 8-Ball. Off of Way Too Funky, I got Mo Pussy, but that was more personal. The song Safe and Sound, which I believe was a single, is a good song. And not the hidden track, but the bonus track on Safe and Sound, Tangeray. I always really love that one. Off of Rhythmalism, I Used to Know Her with AMG. Balance and Options, the first song, Changed the Game. Off of Under the Influence, Trouble, Put It On Me with Dre. Off of Trauma, Fandango. I always really like that beat. And I had off of Book of David, Hydromatic was just a really hard song. What are we missing?
I'm glad you mentioned Trouble. It's a real deep song. I love that song. He really writes from the heart on that one. Right. So I had that on my honorable mentions.
Such an amazing artist, such an amazing producer. I mean, to be that good at both of them. One day.
And it's not even close.
No, you're right.
It's not even close.
I think you're
right. I had
right.
a couple of tracks, Street Entrance. I like a lot, Black Mercedes. Of course, I talked about Badass. No Doubt with Sugar Free and Play a Ham. Did Y'all Feel That? Put It On Me. So Many Ways, Safe and Sound. Way Too Funky, the song. And Speed. Yeah. So he has so many good fucking songs. I had 20 songs and then 18 and then 22 and then 18 and then I sat at 18 for days until like this morning.
This was a fun one. I didn't get sick of listening to DJ Quik. Amazing artist. Another round table in the books. If I ever find the red tape, Brad, I'll give you first dibs on it. But I wouldn't hold my breath. I don't know where I'm going to find it. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Till next time.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was cool, man.
Thanks again.
See ya.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still